On show 488, Tesla's website gets overwhelmed, clean energy for Rhode Island, and an electric Lotus. So those stories, many more coming up on your last working day of the week edition of EV News Daily. Whatever the time of day you're listening to us, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the show. EV News Daily for Friday, 31st of May, last day of the month as well. My name is Martyn Lee. I go through every EV story I can find to save you time. This is all about, I know how busy you are, right? If you're new to the show, you haven't heard me do this speech before. I know, you're snowed, you're busy, you've got a million emails and WhatsApps and texts and things to get to. Hopefully, this little 15 minutes you and I spend together each day is time well spent, and then you are bang up to date on everything you need to know in the world of EVs and clean energy. Well, thank you very much to myev.com for helping make this show. They've got exactly the same philosophy, which is why we work so well together. They're all about saving you time. Don't sift through those other websites that are just chock full of gas cars. If you're in the USA, check out myev.com and have a look. You can buy and sell and learn about only electric cars. Super focused, because when you decide to go electric, you never want to see another petrol car in your listings again. You want to just go through the cars that you really want. Of course, countrywide as well. Now, that's impressive. Check out myev.com. Thank you to our latest executive producer of the show and the man behind Surrey EVs. I was about to say Sussex. No, Surrey EVs. It's the man that you know as the Plugseeker. Now, maybe you're on the Plugshare app and you'll see him updating those all the time. I don't even know if he wants me to go by not his internet name, so we'll call him the Plugseeker for now. I can always ask. I'll send a DM. A little public announcement first of all, just a super quickie. Kia has recalled more than 5,000 hybrid and plug-in hybrid models because of an electrical relay that could overheat, says Automotive Management magazine. Affected versions of the Kia crossover, the cars that were built between November 16 and September 17. So if you take yours back to the dealership, it'll be inspected. Anything faulty will be replaced at no cost to you. The fault identified as part of Kia's ongoing program, and a recall for a similar fault was issued by Kia USA in October last year. 27,000 vehicles on that one were deemed to be at a higher risk of fire, the Korean manufacturer revealed in a statement issued today, May 31st. So if you have a Niro hybrid, plug-in hybrid, just get it taken care of. Probably nothing to worry about, but better to be safe, eh? So the big news, the big surprise that everyone worked out what it was today in China, Tesla announcing the prices and then opening the order books for the Model 3 standard range in China. Comes in at a cost that's got different people saying different things. I'll give you both perspectives and you can make your own mind up. You can put it together however you want this story. I've flip-flopped in whether thinking this is great news and whether it's not so great news, but let's get through the news. Tesla said today it's going to price its Chinese-made Model 3 from 328,000 yuan, which is a direct, if you do the kind of translation to US dollars, 47,529. And that's a lot of money for the standard range Tesla. This is 13% cheaper, though, than if you want to buy one at the moment in China because they're having to import it. So, in one hand, the cars are 13% cheaper. On the other hand, yes, it's more expensive. Okay, so there's a ton of caveats that I need to get to. Let's get through the news and then we'll get to the things that we need to think about. According to Reuters today, Tesla said buyers will only need to put down a deposit of 20,000 yuan with a financing option on offer, meaning that your monthly payments could start from just 1,100 yuan. Pictures of the Shanghai plant posted on Tesla's social media account showed construction of the main section almost done. The company had a recruitment event earlier in the week for car manufacturing and logistics workers. I'll pop a Reuters link in the show notes. Now, before we get to Teslarati, let me give you Tesla's quote on this. The first order was completed within 3 minutes of the reservation opening. Due to extreme high demand of the Chinese-made Model 3 on the official website of Tesla, the traffic is too large. Please be patient or visit stores. So they were recognising there that there was a lot of demand for this. So first of all, we're coming from a place of whether you think this is good news or bad news. Clearly in China, it broke everything and lots of people are trying to get hold of one at a 13% discount on what Teslas are at the moment. Simon at Teslarati had a different take on it. Just going through the numbers, starting at 328,000 yuan, which is, like I say, about $47,500. The locally made vehicle is around $7,000 cheaper than the US-made Standard Range Plus. That was listed before now about $54,500, about 377,000 yuan. Bear with me, that's the end of the numbers. Immediately after pre-orders opened, Tesla enthusiasts in China noted that the company's website was getting slower. Didn't take long before Tesla's official Weibo account posted an update apologising for the slowdowns online. According to the electric car maker, the first order for the made-in-China Model 3 was done 3 minutes after reservations opened. More orders followed soon after, while a number of Chinese social media users expressed their disappointment at the higher-than-expected starting price of the Gigafactory 3-produced Model 3. The vehicle's launch was nonetheless met with widespread support from the Tesla and, in fact, the wider EV community. Overall, large amounts of traffic drowned Tesla's Chinese website, but a hint of the interest surrounding the vehicle from the country's car-buying public, says Teslarati. So there's two sides of that. Firstly, the car is much cheaper to buy now than it used to be. On the other hand, yes, for the Standard Range Plus model, $47,500 is a lot of money. All of the options are about $6,000 to $7,000 more if you just do the straight math swap. But there's so many different things here. China has different incentives. China also has a post-purchase tax. This post-purchase tax is applicable on something like a BMW M3 fossil car, which is in the same bracket as the Tesla Model 3. That's payable, but not payable on EVs. So there's that saving. Plus there's other incentives, plus the US price. Remember, and I'm guilty of forgetting this, the US price is minus taxes. So when I give a UK price, for instance, when you buy anything in the UK, any price you see in the UK, if you come here on holiday or you come here on business, on travel, the price you see is the price you pay. They have to they can't list the price differently without taxes, unless it's specifically for business, and then they list it without the VAT, the value added tax. Here it's 20%, by the way, but 9 times out of 10, every price you see has the VAT, the VAT, added. So when I talk about a price in the UK, the VAT's been added, 20%'s on top. And again in China, these prices, remember, $6,000 to $7,000 more if you just do that conversion, but US has state-level incentives, has federal tax credits to think about as well. China also has, I believe, there is I need to look this up and confirm, 12 or 13% VAT tax, which is already on here. So, yes, it's a difference, but it's not as big a difference as you think. However, yes, the price of the Standard Range Plus Model 3 in China is more expensive, even with all of those things said, is more expensive than a US-made one. What's probably happening here, look, I'm no expert, I'm just chatting to you about EVs every day. What's happening here probably, firstly, is this is only the first price that Tesla are going to give. And the car is 6 to 10 months away from, so if they get any deliveries done this year, it'll be amazing. Maybe they'll squeeze some in before the new year. That's just the first price. As that factory, as the Shanghai Gigafactory 3 scales, as more cars start to be made there, I think what's happened before, what could happen here, that price just starts to come down. I don't know. I'm no Tesla expert. This is a general EV podcast. Some great ones out there, by the way, like Ryan McCaffrey and his Ride the Lightning podcast, for instance. Really good. Who, by the way, quick digression, Ryan has finally secured his interview with Elon Musk. That's going to be out this Sunday in 2 days' time if you want to hear that early morning US time. So that's the Chinese news today. Let me also talk about a quick bit of news here in the UK. We're getting towards the stage with Tesla of you can have any colour you want as long as it's black, the old joke about Ford, because there are now just 2 choices here in the UK. If you'd like a Model 3, you can now have one of 2. You can now have Standard Range Plus, which is a fine car to get if you want to get into the Model 3. Standard Range Plus is your base model option, or you can now go straight to performance. That all-wheel drive long-range version is now off. So, Standard Range Plus, you get the partial premium interior. On that, it's £38,000. That's after they take off the free money the government give you here in the UK before you change the colour. You get the 18-inch aero wheels. You can put a tow bar on that for just under £1,000. You can only get the black interior on the Standard Range Plus. The white interior is gone. And of course it comes with autopilot. All Teslas come with autopilot included now, but the full self-driving add-on is £5,800. So that's one option. The other option you've got is the performance model. The dual motor, all-wheel drive performance car. 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, 162 miles an hour top speed, which you're never going to see on public roads. If you get anywhere close to that, you deserve to have your licence taken away. Speed limit here, 70 miles an hour, in case you didn't know. WLTP range, 329 miles. Oh, by the way, I should add, Standard Range Plus in the UK. WLTP range on the website today is showing as 258. Is that a small bump? Has that gone up slightly? Maybe I'm imagining things. So the performance, 329. And then here's the curious thing. If you want, you can get the performance car, with the standard 18-inch aero wheels, which I don't think is an option in the US. And again, US listeners who are Tesla experts, correct me if I'm wrong. What they've done in the UK is they've unbundled the performance package, the performance upgrade. You know, that's the thing that gives you the performance brakes, the big wheels, the silver Ryan McCaffrey pedals, the track mode, for instance, and the carbon fibre spoiler, more as well. That's £3,700 extra. And I'm pretty sure that on the US configurator, last time I looked, and these things change all the time, that was included. So in the UK, they've unbundled that here. So just two options now. You make your choice. Standard Range Plus or Performance. I guess there's three choices, really. Either Performance or Performance with the upgrade for an extra $3,700. But you know what? If you didn't do the upgrade, so you didn't get the big wheels and the spoiler, that would be a seriously stealthy car to have. To sit at a set of red lights with some, Ferrari or Porsche next to you, because what would look like, from the outside, it would look like your basic standard Model 3 is actually a car that can do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, which is brutal. So, that's what's happened today, and it does coincide, by the way, with the right-hand drive models going on sale around the world. Now available in Australia, New Zealand, Japan and Ireland. A tweet from Tesla earlier today said this, and I quote, "We do not want to alarm anyone." I think tongue's in cheek here. "We do not want to alarm anyone, but Model 3 is now available to order in Australia, Hong Kong, Japan, New Zealand, Ireland and Macau." You know what to do with a link to the website. Well, the launch comes less than a month after the UK launch of the Model 3. Tesla's most affordable car is available in all major right-hand drive markets, says Mashable. Pricing for the Model 3 varies according to the market. In Australia, by the way, the car starts at 66,000 Aussie dollars. Again, I can do the conversion to US dollars, but just taxes and stuff, and then shipping halfway around the world, it mucks it all up. In Japan, 5.1 million yen. In Ireland, it starts at €48,900. In all of the new markets, you only get these two options, same as the UK change today. Standard Range Plus with partial premium interior, gotta have it in black, and the Performance with premium interior, gotta have it in black. There's no option to get the white interior anymore in the right-hand drive cars. I'll pop a link to the show notes if you want to read more. Really fascinating day, super interesting. I did get an email today, by the way. I'm going to try and find it while I'm talking to you because I didn't bring this out. Yeah, Tim Gutteridge says, "Hi Martin, just thought you should know the Model 3 is now on sale in New Zealand and... ... I have ordered," says Tim. Tim, many thanks. Congratulations. I can't pretend that I'm not slightly envious of you ordering a Tesla. You're going to have such fun in that. Congratulations if you have ordered one. I mean, you're going to have a great time. You have a great time. I was having coffee with a friend yesterday, actually, and he's had a couple of Model S's, at least the ones that I know about. And he said to me, "When are we going to get you in a Tesla?" And I nodded and smiled. Let me work a little bit harder. Got to earn a bit more money first. So, let's move on with the news. Big Tesla day, but there's more to talk about. Earlier this week, Rhode Island regulators approved a 20-year power purchase agreement. They're called PPAs, a power purchase agreement with DWW LLC, a joint venture between Ørsted, they make offshore wind, and Eversource for the power generated from an offshore wind project. This project is 400 megawatts, says Clean Technica. The approved PPA is for 400 megawatts generated from two different things, actually. There's the 704 megawatt Revolution offshore wind project, and that's going to be delivering as part of that 400 megawatts to Rhode Island and 304 over to Connecticut. Which makes up the total offshore project of 704 megawatts. Revolution Wind expected to begin local construction early next year. Offshore installation in 2022. All done by 2023. Great news for local jobs, local skills, local employment in building these things. And I'll pop a link to Clean Technica in the show notes. Earlier this week on the podcast, I was talking about how in the UK, offshore wind has really taken off. And I'm going to come to that in just a second. But somebody did say to me, why are you so much against... why are you against offshore wind? Because I was saying it's such a pain that we have to have offshore wind here in the UK. I'm not against it. I'm so sorry that typically, I mess up most days. I'm so sorry if I gave that impression. I'm not against offshore wind. I'm just more pro onshore wind because it's so much cheaper to put a wind turbine on land. Installation, construction, shipping it. It's so much cheaper to build an onshore wind farm than an offshore one. Here in the UK is Europe's windiest country. We've got nearly all of the wind in Europe here in the UK. If only we would relax some of our planning regulations. People don't want them on their doorstep. They think they look ugly. I think they look beautiful. Put one in my back garden. I'd love you forever. My neighbours wouldn't like one of those huge ones. But, because some of those wind turbines now, the span from tip to tip is longer than a football pitch. They're huge. They're amazing. I think they're gorgeous. Unfortunately, they're not vote winners. And so we put them offshore where people can't really see them. It's a bit gutting. So no, I'm not against offshore. Just onshore wind is so much cheaper. Offshore's got a lot cheaper, by the way, as companies have got better at the process. But never mind. I'm just going to bring this next story further up the agenda because while I'm talking about it, I will just say a huge congratulations to power generators here in Great Britain. A new milestone lasting a fortnight without any coal power being generated for the first time since the Industrial Revolution. We went 9 days, then we went 12 days, and those records are being broken over the last couple of years. Now it's been 2 whole weeks, says The Guardian today. The system supplies electricity across the countries of England, Scotland and Wales, and it's gone for 2 weeks so far, and now we're into the weekend, and so the energy usage vastly reduced because industry's not requiring power at the weekend, so we're going to go at least 2 more days, and with the good weather, could go longer. 2 whole weeks without any coal being burned. It happened at 3:12 p.m. on Friday afternoon, just minutes after I'm recording this podcast. According to National Grid electricity system operator, coal has been used to make electricity since the very first power station in 1882. The first one was a place called Holborn in London. In 2018, coal was just 5% of electricity, a big decline from just 2012 when it was 40%. I know, it's mad, right? 40% 7 years ago, 5% last year, this year, barely any. And a British record for solar power has been beaten this month as well. On the 14th of May, Great Britain generated 25% of its power solely from the sun, and we are, trust me, we ain't a sunny place. This is not Florida. This is not Vegas. This is not California. We are cloudy more than we are sunny. And it's so good. Makes me feel so good. Makes me feel optimistic for the future as well. Let's talk Lotus. Those who know the history of Tesla know the very first Roadster was built on a Lotus. They ended up making pretty much all of it different. However, Lotus has confirmed the Type 130. The Type 130 is their first new all-electric model, and it's going to be revealed to the world's media on the 16th of July in central London. Ooh, I'll be there for that. According to Renewable Energy magazine. Following first confirmation of the project in April at the Shanghai International Auto Show, several hundred potential owners came forward to express interest, and today the company announces that 130 of the Type 130 will ever be made to represent the number of different Lotus types that they've introduced over their 71-year history. Lotus confirmed today the Type 130 is going to be built in Hethel in Norfolk, which is not far from where I'm from. I grew up speaking like that. I know you come from Norfolk, boy, but I don't have the Norfolk accent anymore. All my friends speak like that because they all live back in Norfolk. That wasn't a very good one. I don't know where my accent went. I left home when I was 17, 18, and I've been away longer than I lived there. So the accent's disappeared. But I do love going home. Oh, all right, where they all speak like that. They've been their headquarters since 1966, and they're still making cars there. Great news. All right, I'll pop a link into Renewable Energy magazine in the show notes. I better speed up. I'm waffling today. Germany is going to extend for another year a bonus scheme to encourage people to buy EVs. Die Welt reported today another sign of Berlin's eagerness to support a sector in which it lags the US and Asian rival, says the Euractiv website, euractiv.com. The new newspaper said that the Cash for Clunkers scheme, first introduced as a stimulus after the 2008 economic slowdown, would be extended until 2020. Buyers get €4,000 cash back on certain types of EVs. When introduced, the scheme served a dual purpose, says Euractiv, of stimulating the economy, getting dirty diesels off the road by offering buyers a trade-in premium on a new car. The bonus scheme is being extended to target uptake of EVs. Introduced for 3 years in 2016, 118,000 people have used that, and it's being extended for yet another year. Great news. Germany is a country that really did pride itself on making great diesel and petrol engines. Hopefully soon they'll pride themselves on making great EVs. There are still many people, many powerful forces, by the way, that do love those German dirty diesels and will do whatever they can to make them last just a little bit longer. Finally, hello to our friend Bill Gates, who's been spending a lot of money on climate initiatives and projects. The European Commission and the European Investment Bank, along with Bill Gates' Breakthrough Energy Ventures, announced today the establishment of a €100 million fund to support more clean energy investments, says Josh Hill for Clean Technica. Breakthrough Energy and Bill Gates are investing in 5 major sectors to do with fighting climate change, clean electricity, clean transportation, agriculture, manufacturing and buildings. Investments are going to begin the second half of this year when the European Union member states and countries associated with Horizon 2020 can apply for funding. Probably won't affect this country because by then we may well be out of the European Union. But for those countries left in, €100 million. Thank you, Mr. Bill Gates, for funding those EU projects for more clean energy and transportation. Right, let's get on to our question of the week. I read out your answers on a Sunday night, so send me yours. Thanks to myev.com. Here's your question of the week this week. What would be your dream job in the EV industry and why? Email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com. That's hello@evnewsdaily.com. Leave a comment on Facebook or YouTube. Well, thank you to 214 patrons of the podcast for helping me make this show. I appreciate every single bit of support, every bit of moral support, every email, every tweet. Thank you so much. And of course, every Patreon subscriber gives me the confidence to carry on doing this and to think that there are more and more people every day listening to EV News Daily. If you want to find out more, check it out. Patreon, patreon.com/EV News Daily. There are 487 previous shows sitting in the archive right now. But if you subscribe, you get the new ones first and free and automatically. And we all love stuff for free. And there's no obligation to do the Patreon thing with this podcast. So if you want to, enjoy the podcast as long as you want for free. I'll be here making it. And if you want to catch up on the socials, search EV News Daily. Bloomin' heck, 24 minutes. I've waffled today. I'm going to bugger off now. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. Remember, there's no such thing as a bloomin' self-charging hybrid.